Okay, so it's a bit of a progress update and maybe a little bit of an idea mine for anyone that has this kind of similar problem, although that's extremely unlikely. So I am attempting to restore some interlaced footage off of VHS. Interlaced footage, if you don't know, each frame is compiled of or comprised of two fields which are half. Basically, every second line is its own separate image, and then your player interlaces them into a single image. There's technical reasons for it. It's not really important, but this causes a bit of an issue and somewhat of a solution to a particular problem I have, which is damage. So now with this being stop motion image, I have some certain advantages here, certain things going for me, and that is that the often motion is only every second frame. Because motion every second frame denotes normal movement speed, whereas motion every single frame denotes rapid speed. So sometimes when I've got damaged frames, I have the luxury of just being able to delete the frame outright and just duplicate one of its neighbors to deal with it. In this case, I don't have that luxury. Okay, so here you can see there's no movement here. I'm going backwards and forwards. You maybe can't really see that, but from here to here, I've got movement. This frame's damaged. Again, no movement, but this frame's also damaged, and now I've got movement, and this is fine. Right, so I have a bit of a problem here. Now, the way I'm sorting this is by doing a bit of an examination. Okay, so actually I'm already showing you the solution here. Oops. Okay, so here are the top and the bottom field, separated out. Here you can see on this frame, it's just one of the fields that is messed up. And on the next frame, same idea, only one of the fields is messed up, although this one does have some very slight green effects up the top, which you probably can't really tell. But this frame, again, there's no movement, there's no motion. This frame, or rather this field of this frame is fine. So what do we do here is that now there are other algorithms that would probably be a better idea for this, and I may experiment with them, but for the moment I'm just doing this natively through Virtualdub just for the sake of getting this working. Okay, so I am discarding the bad field and I'm getting Virtualdub to interpolate the missing fields. Now, this is not as going to be as good quality as other algorithms, but it's just to get the point across. Okay, so now I have a good image, or a better image rather. Okay, so the idea here is that you save this out as an image file, and then we're gonna bring it in. Okay, so these are a bunch of images for frames which I have not been able to repair through my other scripts and whatnot, and so I've just had to resort to bringing them in as individual images. Although most of these I'm not actually using the full image. I'll get into that later. Right, this one here is a single image which is going to be for the two frames. Okay, so I bring in the image here, and I declare it as F2260, which is the frame number, just to make things a bit easier. And then all the way down here, I am telling the script that for frame 2260 and 2261, layer F2260 on top. Now right at the moment I have it disabled, so I'm going to enable it or remove the hash, and hopefully this will not crash Avisynth. Okay, no, I think we're good because I've turned off most of the other parts of the script which seem to cause it to crash. Let me see, have I got this right? Oh, sorry, actually this is the wrong copy of Virtualdub. This is just the raw file. Okay, right, okay, so here is the Virtualdub, and I've done a bit of a crop here as well, ignore that. Okay, so please don't crash. No crashy please. Yep, there we go. Okay, in fact we can turn off the deinterlacing here because it doesn't matter. Okay, and here is the result. Right, so yes, again, in the script this is being cropped. It was just for testing purposes, ignore that. But you can see Right, there is, I think there is a very, very minor color distortion in those frames, but it's not enough to really worry about, especially because this is like, in fact, it probably won't play quite properly because it has to pause to load the image file, but yeah, see, yes, you can't tell, right? Okay, and I'm doing the same thing for another sequence. Now I've shown the sequence before, it's the OR sequence. Okay, so going back to the other, right, now go back to the other copy of Virtualdub. So this is not running any scripts, this is just the raw video, effectively. Okay, so it's the 9740. Okay, right, so I have fixed this frame before. And the way I did it was just a brute force method of interpolating a good frame at the beginning of the sequence through to a good frame at the end of the sequence, and then doing some Photoshopery to kind of fudge it. Completely unnecessary. This is a much more elegant solution. Okay, so it's the same idea. Here, in fact, I'll turn on the deinterlacing so you can see, unfold. Exact same problem, right? On this frame, one of the fields is gubbed. On the next frame, the opposite field is gubbed. And so same idea, just discard the bad field, interpolate the remainder, and you get a good image. Now, again, on this one, you have, for this, I have to say the top frame on this field, then the bottom frame on this one, but the end result is I get two good images, which I can then paste in. And I'm doing that here as well. Let me see, okay, yeah, here, is that the mirror? What frame are we on? 9741. 9741, where are you? There, right, there we go. Okay, they're there, right? And so I'm just calling these ones in later on in their entirety. I think I've called it one too many times, but I'll deal with that later. Okay, so that's that, right? Now, there are sequences and frames in the recording which I've not been able to fix just through the various scripts. And I've turned off all the other scripts just to stop it from crashing, and because I was doing some troubleshooting. But things like DePulse, or RemoveSpots, which seem to do wonders, they're great. And again, I'm duplicating frames. This is all the frames which I am repairing by virtue of deleting the bad ones and duplicating the neighbors, right? So there's quite a few of them, but it's a good little cheat, right? Okay, so part of the difficulties I'm having is somewhat related to the nature of the episode. Because in this episode there are snowball fights. Now, what's a snowball fight to a cleaning algorithm? Well, it's it's an unusual white dot that moves across the screen, and so the algorithms, the scripts, for cleaning up noise, sometimes erroneously pick up the snowballs as being noise, which means that I can't just run the cleaning scripts all the way through. I've had to go through some of the segments and selectively turn off what was it called again? Sorry, I'm head's pickled here. I've been at this for ages. Right, remove spots, right? So remove spots is here. This is a whole sequence of me turning remove spots on for only certain frames. So the gaps in between these frames are the sequences in which it's been erroneously removing, well, mainly snowballs to be fair, and other kinds of stuff. Right, so the problem I then have is that if on the frames I have to turn off those scripts, there is other junk on the frame, then I have to get another, either I need to just leave the junk in there or come up with other solutions. Okay, so this isn't one of them. This is something that my scripts couldn't repair, but I'm fixing this the same way I'm fixing the other examples actually. Okay, so here it's here, right? So 4920. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Well, I'll show you a wee bit actually. Okay, so this little black dot here, right? Now again, the cleaning scripts are all turned off at the moment, all of them, just to stop, just so I can get this to work properly. But okay, when I have the remove spots, the script running, then on these frames, when it gets to about here, the snowball gets picked up as being noise and it disappears until about here. So I've had, well actually I think it comes back in here. So it's mainly this frame, it's the issue actually, or I think it's actually all the way from here up to here, and then from here it picks up as, it doesn't pick up as being noise anymore. But here there's a black dot. So how do I deal with that? Okay, well the brute force method is just to save out this image again, the doctor it to like do some Photoshop array to go over this black dot and then just call it in. And I have done that and it does work. Now, I don't want to do that too much though. I don't want to completely replace the whole frame. The reason being because this is interlaced footage and the image I'm laying on top of it is not perfect, right? So there's little fuzzies effectively at the edges, and you may see them later on in the video basically, but I want to try and keep as much of the image on screen, the raw interlaced video as possible. So what do I do? Okay, well in this case what I've decided to do is okay, well we call in the image first of all. It says 4920. Okay, so I've left it called in. So the script is calling in the image, and then I am calling in a mask. Now, actually I've closed the file. Hang on 2 seconds. Apologies. Okay, right, so I have brought that frame into GIMP along with a bunch of others. Now, this is not the repaired version. I've got the repaired version with this black dot gone on in another file in another location. So this is my GIMP file for creating masks. Okay, so effectively what I did here is that I've created some black frames underneath this frame, and basically with the airbrush tool and selecting the right frames, I have created a white dot where that black dot is, and it's the same for other frames. So here this is another frame where there's a snowball in motion. I have to turn off the cleaning scripts for this. There's a little black hair thingy here, and so I've created a mask for that as well. Okay, so back to the script. So I've called in the raw images, or the repaired images rather. All of these ones are next to them, denoting they're repaired images. I'm now calling in all of the masks. Now we're dealing with 4920 here. Okay, so here we are declaring some masked images using the masks command. So basically, what this is doing, this is saying, look, take the repaired image and apply the mask command using that image here as the mask, and the white dot becomes the opaque area and the black area becomes translucent or transparent. Okay, so this is now defined the result of that as being, in this case, well it's this one, F4920 masked. And then later on we're telling the script, okay, at frame 4920 use the layer command in conjunction with F4920 masked. And what does that do? Well, it basically means that it only where are we? Right, here it's here. Okay, so what it basically means is that rather than pasting in the full frame, including all of the potential imperfections and little fuzzies, the majority of this image is the raw interlaced image, and you can't tell because it's the same image with a mask that's faded out anyway. But in this area, there is a tiny segment of that repaired image. And although this image is like using RGB and it's not interlaced, you can't tell, you can't see it. So this allows me to have the benefits of manually repairing frames, but without having to completely change the whole frame and thereby introduce the de-interlacing it problems that may arise. Now, so that's great for little repairs. So I have a whole bunch of little repairs here. Now my problem comes with the big frames. Now for this, I thought this might be an issue, and it is a wee bit, and I'm gonna have to do some work on it. I think I've already got a solution, but the same. Basically, my solution is just going to be to use a proper de-interlacing algorithm to de-interlace the really problem frames, and then repeat the same process, like clean them up, load those files in instead, and so I should have cleaner repaired frames. Okay, so so we're doing 9170 now. Okay, right, 9170. Okay, okay, again, you probably can't tell, this is the repaired frame, right? So this has been saved out. This didn't have de-interlacing problems. This had just like okay, thank you. No, why? No, thank you. This just had general problems, right? So I've saved this image out, and because I've saved it out from Virtualdub with Virtualdub's own inbuilt deinterlacer, it's not too great. So there's little lines in that boat because this was a saved image. Again, little lines in the boat because this is a saved image. Actually, is it? Okay, sorry. Again, because I've cropped this image when I was experimenting, it's kind of messed up this image slightly. But right, so here is a normal frame. This is just the raw interlaced image, and there's no little lines. At least to my eye, you probably can't tell, but just trust me, there's no little lines breaking through the boat. Whereas on the repaired frames, there is, so it's a bit blurry. In fact, you can maybe see that. Yeah, you can maybe just about see that the definition for the mast, like the radial masts or whatever it is up at the front, are relatively clear there, less clear there. And that is partly because of the de-interlacing artifacts in this image. So basically, as a proof of concept, this works fine. And to be fair, this is only a couple of frames. You're not going to notice. You're only going to know it exists because I've actually pointed it out to you. It's mainly for me. I know it's there. So I think the next step here is I need to repair that. Actually, I need to repair this frame better than this anyway. But the next step here to quote unquote perfecting this technique is to properly de-interlace with a proper algorithm the raw video, and then just repeat this same process. Like extract these particular frames, repair them in GIMP, and then paste them back in to the script. You know, just call them in, convert them to RGB, and then just have the script use layer to paste them in. And yeah, that's it. So that's a technique within Avisynth. If you were ever, and you weren't interested, I know you weren't interested, but this is so here is a potential technique. There are probably much better ones because I am a total amateur at this. But this is what I've came up with as a technique for doing minor repairs to little splodges here and there in frames, like let me see whereabouts is it. Right, in one of these frames there's a little splodge here and a little splodge there. I did it, repaired it the same method. So yeah, so that's it. We're nearly done, I think. I'm not quite finished, but we're making some progress.